I threatened to cancel the bride's wedding if she continues to insist on my parents' presence at it. My father left, and my mother kicked me out after college. But when my bride offered to invite my parents to the wedding, I couldn't accept it. A quarrel with my sister and a break in ties with her only aggravated the situation. So, a little background, my father left the family and stopped communicating with me when I was 4 years old. Mom got married again and gave birth to 2 children from my stepfather. Stepfather never treated me badly, but always made it clear that he was just Dale for me. The name is fictional, like all subsequent ones. He wasn't my father, and he never tried to become one. Mom never tried to establish a relationship with me and introduce me to the family. She sincerely loved her new family, and she always perceived me as a burden. I thought so, and then it was confirmed. After the first year of college, my mother asked me not to come home anymore. After that call, I blocked her, and since then I have not communicated with her or with Dale and my half-brother. I still communicate with my sister Delilah at her insistence, but this is my only contact with my family. It took me a long time to accept the fact that I was, in fact, kicked out of the family. I became quite independent and thought I would live alone until I met my fiancée Penny 4 years ago. We had a great relationship. Penny's family welcomed me with open arms and opened their house. She's from a pretty typical family from the suburbs, remembering desperate housewives fucked up in the suburbs and smoothing out the hair on the ass, and they are wonderful. Over the years, I told her about my family problems. Penny met my sister and never insisted on more contact until we started planning a wedding. When we started discussing who to invite, I was talking about friends from college and colleagues, and she kept repeating that I should invite my parents. At first, I thought that Penny was just trying to assess whether I really wanted it. I said I wouldn't invite my parents. She agreed, but the next day she started talking about it again. I calmly explained how much they offended me, how hard it was for me to grow up with the feeling that you are unwell, and the confirmation of my darkest thoughts at the age of 19 greatly undermined my mental health. For years, I realized that they are the problem, and if they want to solve it, they can initiate communication, but I communicate with my sister and realize that they are happy, continuing to pretend that I do not exist. It sucks, yes, but it's their problem, which doesn't concern me in any way. I can't and don't want to be the one who will come and solve everything. I thought it was all over, but Penny raised this topic twice more. The last time she started talking about it again was last night when we were about to start sending congratulations. Are you sure you don't want to invite your parents? It seems to me that I can invite them as guests from my side. And I broke down. I told Penny that we should probably just throw away the invitations because if you can't respect what I've been through, I don't want to marry you. Then I went to our bedroom and thought for a while, little by little, getting more and more angry. She came in to try to talk to me, and I jumped up, took the keys, and left. I came back around 11 p.m. after gatherings with friends and spent the night on the couch. Penny went to work without saying a word to me, and I don't know what position we are in. Her behavior is unacceptable, but I feel that I may have gone too far. What do you all think? Am I an asshole? My fiancé usually comes home around 17:30, so after finishing work I work from home. I was waiting for Penny to show up. I was very excited when it was 18 o'clock and she was still not at home, but around 18:15 Penny showed up with my sister, which was a big surprise. Although my sister and I communicate every Thursday, we live 45 minutes away from each other, so her appearance is something unusual. Both of them looked very worried, which excited me even more. I asked them what was going on, and Delilah just burst into tears, interskewing sobbing with apologies. 5 minutes after she burst into tears, her sister started talking about her family. Obviously, when Delilah told my mom and Dale that I got engaged, a discord began between them. Not because they were concerned about me, but because my brother, who is 27 years old, still lives at home, is single, and has no permanent job. If you think, wow, they kicked you out at 19, but let him stay there until he could rent a car, don't worry, I voiced these thoughts for you. Mom, apparently, wanted to do the same with her brother, but Dale didn't let her. So now they live separately. Mom lives with her family and refuses to come back until her brother leaves home. For some reason that is not amenable to any logic, my sister believes that an invitation to my wedding will unite the family because it was my engagement that caused the split in the family. These words of her made me my temper. I told Delilah that my engagement had nothing to do with it, that the reason for everything was their shitty upbringing and bad relationship skills, and there was no need to direct the hose with liquid shit at me either. She burst into tears even more, and this time I wasn't going to comfort her. My fiancée was just sitting next to me all this time, so while my sister was trying to pull herself together, I started asking Penny about it. She also chatted a little, but told me that Delilah told her that I always bring up the topic of family on our Thursday and that deep down I dream of restoring relations with my parents. I asked how Penny could believe it when I clearly said that I didn't communicate with my family and never said that I wanted to renew some kind of relationship with them. I told her that I was telling her everything and would never hide something like that. Penny has always been my support. When I changed jobs last year, we talked about it every night, and her advice meant more than anyone else's. She apologized, and then she wanted to show me her phone, in particular, the messages between her and my sister. At that moment, Delilah came to life and asked her not to show their chat. But my fiancé told her that she was trying to save her relationship. My sister, as it just turned out, frankly lied about our conversations on our Thursday, claimed that I always talked about reconciliation, that I would never admit it, but I am also partly to blame for what happened, that I really want to see my family. Every time I said no to Penny, she wrote to my sister, and Delilah convinced her that I just can't open up to the end because I'm ashamed. This is an absolute lie. I would be absolutely happy never to see any of them again. I can't believe my sister is still dating them. At this point, I tell my sister to leave and that Thursday meetings are canceled. Delilah is a little hysterical, but I ignore her until she leaves. She keeps asking for forgiveness again and again, but to be honest, I'm done with her just like the rest of the family. I blocked her and will not communicate with her in the near future. She betrayed me, ignored my feelings, and sabotaged the relationship. As for me and the bride, I'm still very upset. Penny conspired behind my back with Delilah, never asked me about it, let her sister manipulate her, and honestly, hurt me. I told her that I love her, but my trust was undermined. We agreed to go to pair therapy and see if we can restore our relationship. I hope we can, but I would say that the chances are small. She has a lot of work to do. So, after my sister left, I told my fiancée that I love her, but I can't trust her now. It seemed to me that Penny took her sister's side, not mine. So I continued to sleep on the couch for a few nights. She tiptoed around me, and I hated it, but I wasn't ready to forgive her yet. And on Friday evening, after a walk with friends, I came home and collapsed without strength on the couch. We had a harmless conversation about this. Penny asked me to go to bed with her, and I told her that I was just not ready. I woke up to pee. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and she was sleeping on the floor next to me. I don't know why right now, but I was so deeply touched by her gesture that I cried a little. It meant so much to know that she wanted to be next to me, even when I was cold and kept my distance. It really changed the situation in my eyes. I woke up a few hours later and Penny was already cooking breakfast for me. It was unexpected, as Saturday is usually my day to cook breakfast. We sat down to eat, and she kept the conversation light, still showing caution as if walking on thin ice. Succumbing to the impulse, I decided to tell her a story from my childhood. I told Penny how Dale cooked breakfast for the whole family, but he never included me in it. He cooked for 4. I was older, so I slept until late, and when I got up, there was rarely anything left of breakfast, and if I did, it was in the fridge, and no one wanted to eat with me. I told her how much our Saturday breakfasts mean to me, and the fact that I never told Penny about it was unfair to her. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Penny apologized again, but I told her that I didn't need it, that I forgave her, and although I still want to take a pair therapy course because I think it will help me express my family problems with her in a healthy way. I'm ready to send out wedding invitations. Then I asked her to massage my back because sleeping on the couch was a real nightmare, and she realized that I was serious. I don't like it when anyone touches me except my fiancé, and I really didn't allow her to touch me after that incident. I know that most of you didn't want me to forgive my bride, but I love her and she loves me. Penny made a huge mistake, but she never faced anything like what I went through, and she repented and apologized repeatedly. As for my sister, my mother called me on the phone. I didn't know her number, so she answered the call. Mom said that I should forgive my sister, to which I replied so that she would go away. And this only confirmed that my sister really never took our relationship seriously, because if she knew me, she would have understood that communication with my mother would only aggravate the situation. After that, I blocked the number. It happened on Thursday evening. Delilah tried to come to my house on Sunday, but my bride and I were absent. She left a note in which she apologized and said that she did not ask her mother to contact me and that she was very sorry that she did so. Penny doesn't want to have anything to do with my sister anymore, but she left the decision to me. I told her that she is my family, and if she doesn't want Delilah to attend the wedding, she won't be there. Of course, it was a small injection to her, but Penny took it normally and said she didn't want her to be present. We are returning to normal life. It will still take some time, and I think that maybe I will try to undergo individual therapy because thinking about all these incidents, I am not sure that the situation in the family is no worse than even I admit to myself. And maybe it's time to really deal with everything accumulated. Wedding invitations were sent out yesterday. Everything is going as planned. I'm not sure I'll write anything in the future, but thank you all for letting me figure it out and talk. After we sent out the invitations, I felt some relief. It was an important step for me to make sure that at the wedding there are only those who really support me and who are important to me. I had hoped that all the insults with Penny would be a thing of the past. We started planning a wedding, and this created a more positive atmosphere in our house. I cheered me up, and Penny tried to help organize all the details. Together we chose colors for the decor and even managed to choose a place for the ceremony, a small cozy park near our house. It was our place, symbolizing our way together. However, despite this happiness, the internal worries have not gone anywhere. I still sometimes remembered my family and how they treated me. Although I let them go on some issues, there were still moments when I caught myself thinking about why they did so. Sometimes it caused anger, but more often it caused deep sadness. Once I was sitting on the couch, watching TV, and suddenly felt anxious. I realized that I need to talk to someone about my feelings. I signed up for individual therapy, which I thought about for a long time but postponed it. A run to a psychologist was an important step for me. He helped create a space where I had to discuss my fears, grievances, and experiences. With each session, I began to realize how many old injuries still affect my life. At some point, I went to a meeting with a psychoanalyst. He asked questions that made me think, and I began to realize that the problem is not only in the relationship with my family, but also in the way I perceive myself. I learned to let go of resentment, but at the same time not to forget. It was difficult, but gradually I began to see things differently. Meanwhile, relations with Penny continued to strengthen. We began to talk to each other more, discussing our expectations and fears. One evening, when we were cooking dinner, I just stopped and told her that she was the most important thing to me. In response, she hugged me tightly, and at that moment I admitted that I could not see a future without her. It was sincere, and I felt our hearts connected again. But then unexpected news came. Right on the eve of our wedding, I received a message from Delilah. She tried to contact me, and I would like to ignore her, but the feeling of urgent need to speak out still pulled me to the phone screen. The message said that she realized her mistakes and sincerely apologized. She also mentioned that my mother could never be a real mother, but she regrets it and wants to communicate with us. I read her words, and my heart was pounding. So many years have passed, so much pain and resentment. I felt that I had conflicting emotions towards her. First of all, I wanted to close this page and cut it off forever. But then the thought that my sister was trying to change and correct the past didn't let me sleep peacefully. Finally, I decided to talk to Penny. I described the situation, explaining how important it would be for me to understand her feelings before making any decisions. She listened to me carefully, took my hand, and said that she would be with me no matter what I decided. I didn't know what it meant to be responsible for the past, but I understood that I could make the next move only with deep trust in her. In the end, I wrote to Delilah. I wasn't going to forgive right away. Instead, I set myself a condition. If she really wants to change our relationship, she will have to show sincere efforts. Then I'll rest and see my future. A few weeks passed and we met. I was wary, but Delilah looked like a different person. She quickly switched to an open discussion of our family, expressing her willingness to work on her behavior. I listened and felt that we had a chance to restore the connection, even if it was small. It gave me the strength to move forward. From that day on, changes began to occur. I blocked negative thoughts that could interfere with our relationship with Penny. And although it was about difficulties, thanks to the therapy and support of the girl, I acted cautiously. The wedding day has finally come. I watched Penny go out to the altar and her eyes sparkled with happiness. At that moment, all the pains that oppressed me seemed insignificant. I was smiling and thinking about starting a new life, about how wonderfully we can build our future together. When I looked at Delilah among the guests, almost invisible among the joy, I felt that we could move on. Hope appeared where there was only anger before. Emotions overflowed my mind. It's not for nothing that love and time heal. At sunset in the evening, when we celebrated our union, I felt that I could afford to hope for the future. Stay here with Penny longer and build new memories with her. And maybe someday I will be able to forgive not only her, but also my family. Life goes on, and I have to set my own rules in this new chapter.